What's up? I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of ChatGPT and the UI. I found that while the layout is simple, it's not necessarily straightforward to understand, especially some of the implications that exist when you're working with ChatGPT. And a couple of the people that I've worked with over the past 3 to 4 months have really struggled sometimes to see the implications and know all the different kind of details that are coming together to create the frustrating output that they're experiencing in the moment. So I wanted to show you all of the different pieces of the UI so that you aren't surprised if something happens, or you know how to fix the problem if something strange goes wrong, or you know where to look if something strange happens. So the first thing to understand about ChatGPT is it's based on this concept of conversations. As you can see over here on this left side, we have just a list of conversations that I've had with ChatGPT. And so because it's based on this concept of conversations, we can always just click on this little new chat icon to create a new conversation. And if you have a series of what I call AI assistants, they will show up here, and you can create a new chat with any of these specialized assistants. So what's interesting about this idea or concept of conversations is that you can think of ChatGPT as a person, but when you create a new conversation, it's a little bit like you're talking to a separate version of that person. And that new separate version doesn't have knowledge of any conversations you've had with the previous version of that person. So while ChatGPT can function as your intern, he won't necessarily have all of the information of previous conversations up until this point. Now, you can get around that by always and only talking in one of these conversations, for example, and I have many friends who do that. They just have one ongoing conversation, and ChatGPT is aware of everything that they're doing, all the questions they've asked previously, all of that good stuff, but I tend to, and it's common, that you'll likely create new chats, and each time you create a new one, you won't have, the AI will not have access to any previous context or information that you might have provided it. So that's conversations. So we can click on this new chat, and I can start talking to ChatGPT, and I can say, hey, write me a poem about a knight and a penguin. And so it's going to write me a poem about a knight, a penguin. It's going to create a new chat over here on this left side. And you'll see that this new chat will get renamed based on what ChatGPT thinks it should be called once it's written this poem. And I don't know how long this poem is going to be. I should have tried to limit it. But so that's how we talk to it. We can talk to it here. You can also stop it just kind of midway if we're like, this was a bit long. Don't necessarily care about that. But you can copy all this text. You can ask it to regenerate. You can say this wasn't very good. All that good stuff. The second main thing that we can do with ChatGPT is we can upload a file to it. Right? So this is assuming that you have ChatGPT Plus. If you do not have ChatGPT Plus, you will be forced to use ChatGPT 3.5. So just to show you what that's like, I'm going to create a new chat. And we can click on the ChatGPT 4 up here in the top left corner. We can change it to 3.5. We can also click on plugins. I won't care about that, but if you are using ChatGPT 3.5, you will not be able to create images. You will not be able to browse the web, and you will not be able to run or execute Python code. And so, for most of the pieces in this course in particular, you will 100% need ChatGPT 4, and it's $20 a month, and it's 100%, 1000% worth upgrading so that you can get this. It also says limit of 40 messages every 3 hours. You'll rarely hit this unless you are going really, really hard with ChatGPT. Most people do not hit that limit. So, you can choose the version of ChatGPT that you're talking with. Generally, you want this to say ChatGPT 4. If it says 3.5 up in the top left corner here, then you won't be able to make the images. You won't be able to browse the web. And I've had a lot of people run into that issue as well. They're like, it's not browsing the web. And I'm like, that's because you didn't upgrade to ChatGPT Plus, like I told you. And you didn't look in the top left corner, like I told you, to change this to say 4. If it doesn't say 4, it won't browse the web. So, we can create different conversations. You can talk with different versions. of ChatGPT, I recommend ChatGPT 4 or above in this top left corner. Right now 4 is the only thing that exists, but ChatGPT 4.5 and 5 are likely to come out soon. So having this be anything above, at or above 4. So we can upload our files by clicking on this. We can choose any file here. We can talk to ChatGPT. We can view our previous conversation. So if I want to look at the Penguin chat that I just created, it's right here. I can also look at build a course, ads only. I really want to double down on this, the implications of conversations. Like I said at the beginning, if I create a new chat, so I've just talked with it about penguins. If I create a new chat and I say, hey, tell me about the poem you wrote earlier about penguins, it's not going to have any information about the poem about penguins, right? But here's a poem dedicated to the charming creatures in the Antarctic, right? So it had no context of this previous chat. ChatGPT is working on a feature to kind of mitigate this and to create information sharing between conversations. But at the current point in time, every new conversation you create, ChatGPT won't have a knowledge of previous ones. And that's just how it is at this current point in time. And I want you to be aware of that so that you don't try and ask ChatGPT to recall something it doesn't have context on. Now the other area where this comes into play is when you're working with AI assistants. So that's what these other things are on this left side. These are specialized chatbots with custom instructions that I've created to do some kind of task. So if I open up and I create a chat with my email sequencer, it also doesn't have any context on anything that's been spoken about previously. And it has specialized instructions. So you can see as well in this top left corner, the UI has changed. It doesn't say ChatGPT 4 anymore, it says email sequencer. And when this is the case, I've had many people accidentally create a conversation with one of their AI assistants, thinking it was just a normal ChatGPT 4. And then they started talking, and their AI assistant was designed to do something special, was designed to help them write an email, or to create images, or to help them write a book. And they didn't want to do that. That wasn't what they requested. But that's what the AI assistant tries to do, right? It's specialized. It's like this one is designed to help me write a series of emails, given a topic, goal, or outcome. And if I came to the email sequencer and I asked it to, try and write me a poem or do some research, it's going to try and fit that into its custom instructions. Now, again, you can just look up in the top left. Like, does it say email sequencer here? If I start a conversation and I just say penguins, if it says email sequencer, it doesn't say ChatGPT, right? So in here it says ChatGPT. If the new conversation says email sequencer or doesn't say ChatGPT, then you know you're talking to the wrong quote-unquote person, intern, however you would like to think about it. So you just be aware of that. I'm saying this because it's likely if you do end up creating a conversation with one of these AI assistants on the left side, and it doesn't give you what you want, it could be for that reason. So again, I'm trying to point you towards potential pitfalls, walk you through the different actions that you can take in the user interface here, so that if problems do occur for you, you know how to troubleshoot them, and you know how to function inside of this user interface, this experience. If you got any questions, just post them below. I will try to answer any and all questions that pop up on this video. Hope this was very helpful to you. I've encountered, again, dozens of people have really struggled to comprehend the concept of conversations, creating a new chat, not being able to share information across, and also accidentally creating these conversations with custom AI assistants that aren't necessarily ChatGPT. And then the last piece is people trying to do things with ChatGPT 3.5 that can only be done with GPT-4. So have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'm excited, truly excited to see what you create with ChatGPT. Have a wonderful day. See ya.